and welcome to the fourth edition of the HWCast. Hopefully you're all keeping very safe and very well and keeping yourselves busy at this really important time. Hopefully today we've got lots of different people speaking, so I know some of you will be very bored of my voice by now, so hopefully there's lots and lots of different things involved in this cast. First up though is the winner of the first round of the Harroway Chocolate Challenge. So last week we gave you 5 chocolate bars to vote on, and there were literally hundreds and hundreds of votes for this. And the winner last week was, drum roll, a Whisper. Right, so Whisper goes through to the next round, and today we're going to give you some new chocolate bars to vote on. So today the chocolate bars to vote on are A, the double decker, B, a flake, C, a Kinder Bueno, D, a Yorkie, and E, a Crunchy. So vote like you did last week on the Google form. Literally last week we said hundreds and hundreds of votes. So which of these 5 is your favourite? Don't forget, in addition to our chocolate challenge, we also have our survival guides challenge currently going on. So deadline is the 4th of May. So we want you to send your TikToks, dances, leaflets, artwork, etc. Send us a review of a great film, and make sure you put all your answers onto the Google Classroom for each house, depending on which house you're in. So good luck. Next up is Miss Walker with our quote of the week.
Hello, it's Miss Walker here. I've been asked to provide the quote for the Harroway cast this week. And instantly I thought about this book by Charlie Mackesy, which came out at the end of 2019, so just before we knew and found out about COVID-19. And what drew me to this book was, I guess, just the simplicity of the drawings and also the simplicity of the messages within. I really enjoyed the contrast between the busy world that we live in and the simplicity of design. So one of the conversations that I've been having a lot with staff and students recently is about when are we going to go back to school, what will it be like, and all of those kind of conversations, and the answer is that we just don't know yet, and we have to be okay with that unknown, which I think is summed up really well with this quote and illustration. Is this slide, which says, "I can't see a way through," said the boy. "Can you see your next step?" "Yes." "Just take that," said the horse. So I think that this illustration is really relevant to our situation, because we can't see what's at the end of the forest at the moment, and we just need to decide on what our next step is and how we're going to take that. And I think we can definitely find some positives in those next steps. So is it that it's learning a new hobby? Is it that you're doing more FaceTime with your family, baking, reading, getting out for that one walk that you're allowed in the day, and just being okay with maybe not knowing what comes next. And then the other illustration that I wanted to share with you is this one. It says, "Those are dark clouds," said the boy. "Yes, but they will move on," said the horse. "The blue sky above never leaves." And this is important to remember at the moment, because this is just an unusual period of our lives, and at some point it will pass and we will see the blue sky beyond. So I hope that you're all keeping well. If you wanted to have a look at any more of Charlie Mackesy's illustrations, there's lots on Google Images that you can have a look at. Maybe even give some a go yourselves. Bye.
Now, Miss Darby with the myth of the week. So last week we shared with you the myth about fish and their memory. This week is something else.
Mythbusters. So this week's Mythbuster is on a much loved animal, the chameleon. So it's thought that the chameleon changes colour due to its surroundings and to blend in with whatever it is stood on. Now, this isn't true. Actually, the chameleon changes colour based on its mood, the lighting, and the temperature. So, what colour would you be based on your mood today?
So next up is Mr. Bates with In This Week in History. So last week we had some brilliant facts about President Carter, and this week some equally brilliant facts.
Hello, this is Mr. Bates, back with a little bit more history. And we're going to try and cast our net a little bit wider this week. We're going to try and do on this week in history rather than on this day. It just gives us a little bit more scope. Now, sadly, I can't promise any more carnivorous swamp rabbits like we had in the last podcast, but hopefully you'll find some of these interesting. First up is Anne Boleyn, the second wife of King Henry VIII. And this week in 1536, Anne Boleyn was sent to the Tower of London. Henry had decided that her failure to give him a son meant that he needed to move on to wife number 3. So Anne Boleyn was sent off to the Tower of London, where she was eventually beheaded. And obviously, her ghost is meant to still wander the Tower of London to this day. Second up, we've got George Washington, inaugurated in this week in 1789 as the first president of the United States of America. Unlike the current president of the United States of America, it's fairly certain that George Washington never suggested that people use household cleaning products or inject household cleaning products to try and kill a virus. Third one is a bit of a hero of mine. I do apologise to any Polish listeners. I'm probably about to butcher his name, but Witold Pilecki, 1943, on this week in history in 1943, Witold escaped from Auschwitz concentration camp. Now, he'd spent 2.5 years in Auschwitz concentration camp. He had deliberately got himself arrested so that he could find information about what was going on in Auschwitz and pass it out to the Polish resistance and to the Allies. Incredibly brave man, in my opinion. Another incredibly brave man, Muhammad Ali. This week in 1967, Muhammad Ali refuses to go and fight in the war in Vietnam. Probably a comment on the civil rights situation in America, where Muhammad Ali was talking about the fact that because he was black, he wasn't even allowed to go and buy a hamburger in a store in the southern states of America. But the same government that denied him his civil rights wanted him to go and fight in Vietnam, and Muhammad Ali refused. He was stripped of his world title, and he was ultimately sent to prison. And finally, we have Tim Berners-Lee, who on this week in 1989, Tim Berners-Lee, a scientist at the CERN research facility, released into the wild the World Wide Web, and obviously made the world a very different place by giving us the internet and allowing us to spend a massive amount of time looking at pictures of cats doing weird stuff. So hope you found those interesting. Stay safe and hopefully see you all soon. Take care. Bye bye.
Next up is Miss Kilby with some advice on how to read along with us.
Hi Harrow students, I hope you're all okay and taking care of yourselves, keeping active, keeping your mind active. One way that you can do that is to read along with us. Now, some of you have been doing this already, which is fantastic, but if you're not aware, each day, Monday to Friday, I, Miss Kilby, have been sharing links with students from Year 7 through to Year 10, links to daily read-alongs to some text that we've selected from your wider reading list. So for Year 7, I've been sharing links to The Hobbit with you, which Mr. Llewellyn has now started reading. It's an absolute treat. There's singing in there and everything, guys. It's not to be missed. Year 8, The Devil Walks. Year 9 and Year 10, The Secret Life of Bees. You can see on the slide, I've shared with you how I record the reading each day, and this is just a 20-minute task. It's no longer than a tutor time activity. There's no work involved. You can literally just follow the book with me as I read each day, and then I've also shared with you how it looks on your Show My Homework. So that is shared with you every day. If you want to start reading the books and you've missed out on the first installments, please just drop me an email and I can send the links to you. Take care. Happy reading.
We also have some brilliant recommendations from the library about books you might also want to read during this time. The book is A Wrinkle in Time. So a brother and sister travel in time to mysterious planets with evil forces to find their missing scientist father. This is suitable really for Year 7 readers. It is also a film, I believe, with Oprah Winfrey in it. We also have Underworld. A school trip goes very badly wrong when 5 teenagers who do not get along become trapped in caves with their injured teacher. Then one of them disappears in hopes of anyone escaping fate. Legend has it that something dangerous lurks in the cave. This is suitable for all year groups and is gripping. Leap of Faith. Girls will love Faith. She's a funny, feisty Year 10 who goes on a French exchange trip, applies to be a school prefect and tries to find a new boyfriend. Laughs on every page. I know this week as well that Miss German has sent out in the e-news a kindness and well-being challenge. So there are 100 different challenges to try at home. Remember, these are just for fun. These aren't part of your normal working week. So there's things such as making a pizza, writing a poem, ironing a shirt, calling a loved one. So try as many as you can, but remember they're just for fun. On a slightly different note as well, Demetrius in Year 9 has been nominated for a National Diversity Award for his work in the youth sector. So I'll send out the link, but he would really appreciate it if you could please cast your vote. So voting closes by the 18th of May, and anyone who has worked with Demetrius knows how brilliant he is with this and how much effort he puts into his work in all different sectors. Next up is Miss Lowing with our new Wonderful Work segment.
Hello everyone, I hope you're safe and well. I asked teachers to send me some of the wonderful work that you've been doing at home, so I put together a gallery of all the best ones. It was difficult to fit them all in, so not all of them are there, but keep going, keep working hard, keep producing wonderful work.
First up we have drama work by Becky Phelps and Darcy Newman. Then we have music by Alicia Whitehouse and Callum Watson. Here's some brilliant examples of MFL work by Annabelle Rist and Hannah. Some brilliant artwork by Chloe Hatchett-May, Hannah Bamba and Jessie Rosser. More great artwork by Ruby Ray and Megan. And lastly, some brilliant music work by Daisy Barr and Will Pashley.